Actually, there's no such thing as a perfectly comfortable posture, because whatever posture you're in, sooner or later your body will start to ache a bit. That's why we wriggle around so much. But if your mindfulness is becoming stronger, you're directing your energy inwards to yourself, to your body, and you're just knowing the feelings, the sensations, but not thinking anything in particular, not making anything out of them. You find you can become quite peaceful, even if you still have some pain. Most of my life I've had pain particularly in my legs, not so much my back, but particularly my legs. Used to be a lot when I began, then got better because I did a lot of meditation, my legs got used to it. Then as I get older, more pain again, back to like the beginning again. So you just have to learn to be patient, but observe with mindfulness. The legs hurt, the back hurt, you feel tired. Sometimes you can't escape these feelings, but you can know them with mindfulness. And by knowing them, we're practicing the second foundation of mindfulness, Vedana-nupassana satipatthana. Knowing the feeling in the feeling, or knowing feeling as just feeling. This is the way Ajahn Chah described the practice. When your mindfulness is there, you can know feeling as merely feeling. It's just a feeling. And that includes pleasure. It's not all pain, we also have pleasure. And also neutral feeling. But the pain is the difficult one, because it's hard to be with, hard to bear with. What's the word in Mandarin for to endure, to be patient with, to endure? Is it nai? Is it zunai? Runai? Runai? Isn't it a feeling? Image is like a heart with a needle into it. Nai. It's like you're having to tolerate, be patient with something that's difficult. So you need a lot of patience to practice, and that's a really useful quality for us. So sometimes you just need to remind yourself, like we're practicing all day today, sitting, walking. If it's something you can't escape from, then you have to accept it, but be patient with it. Patience, when we meditate, really means keeping your mind in a good state, wholesome state, not giving in to the short temper, irritation, negative thoughts. We all know that. That's when we're impatient. But patience is something you have to cultivate, keep coming back to. Sometimes we use wisdom, understanding, remind ourselves it's just a feeling. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it goes. It's just a feeling. And if your mindfulness and wisdom gets a bit sharper and stronger, maybe you can see for yourself, feeling is not really you. It's not a person, it's not a being. It's just feeling. And if you don't grab it, hold on to it, then even painful feeling, you can just be with it, bear with it, know it. So there's the mind that knows with patience, with mindfulness, with wisdom, and then there's the feeling that is known, but there's a separation there, a bit of distance. As we practice mindfulness, we get some distance from our own body, even our own thoughts. We say, my body, my thoughts. But as you become more mindful, it's like there's a slight separation or distance arising. So, you maybe can't get rid of pain sometimes, but you can know it with mindfulness and even be with it and not get upset by it and not go into a negative thought. And that's the same with other things. I'm just talking about physical feeling here, but mental feelings based on disappointment, anguish, things not going our way, same. And if you can practice mindfulness and see it's just a state of mind, but it's not you, it's not a person. It will have its causes, its triggers. So like Chinese New Year, good time to think about this. How much of our life are we triggered by other people? Family, friends. Often the people we love trigger us the most because we see them a lot and they have an opinion different from us, or they criticize us, scold us. And when our mind is weak, our happiness and suffering is all in the hands of someone else. If they speak nicely to us, we're very happy. If they criticize us, we feel angry, annoyed, fed up. And if that happens often, it's like, all my life is suffering because of this person. They keep scolding me, keep saying negative things to me. These are just the words of someone else. Whether they're true or not, there's another thing. And when we're mindful, we can see, well, what's going on here? Say somebody, they tell you did something wrong, you're no good, your life is no good, you made all these mistakes, or you let someone down, or, all the things people might tell us that trigger us, make us unhappy. In essence, what's happening is words, isn't it? It's words which are sounds, come to the ear, and with the meaning we give to those words, because we know they're scolding us, straight away we get a bad feeling, an unpleasant feeling, and that's what I say triggers us. So we start to feel bad. They're triggering, they're saying those words again. Maybe it's something that's repetitive, scolding me, bullying me, hurting me. But actually the words are just sound. It's just sound coming to the ear, but then we give that sound a lot of meaning. And so we start to suffer because we attach to it. If we're not mindful, if we're not reflective, insightful, someone else's words can make us miserable all day. All Chinese New Year, we can just keep remembering their words. It may happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but it may happen. I'm just giving you an example. But actually it's just words, isn't it? Words are sound, arise, pass away. If we can be mindful, maybe it's not much more than that. A sound is merely a sound. Painful words are just painful words, but then they're gone, finished. But when we're not paying attention, we're not mindful, we keep remembering and thinking about it, and maybe hold them in our mind until next Chinese New Year. It happens, unfortunately. So mindfulness is helping you to free you from some of these mental habits we have where we just react, hear those words, get upset. And the more you get upset by other people's words, the more you crave the nice words, the sweet words, the praise. So you move towards somebody who always says nice things, move away from someone who tends to scold you. But our mind is not free, is it? It's like a slave to these reactions, what we call craving in Buddhism, tanha, craving. Liking, not liking, wanting, not wanting. always moving around in response to things. And the Buddha said, when you meditate like this, you'll notice it, because it's happening all the time with our senses. So it's not just words, it's also what we see, what we hear, taste, smell, touch, and then just ideas, thoughts, memories based on our past contact, sense contact. And the Buddha said it's like 6 animals pulling us in different directions. These animals, it could be any kind of animal, like a cow or a horse, year of the horse. We've got one horse running in that direction, tied to us, tied to our heart, our spiritual heart here. It's the quality that knows. So we've got one running that direction, pulling the heart that way, and then another one runs that direction, pulling that way. So already that's trouble. So eyes, ears, nose, tongue, smell. Every sense can give us trouble if we're not mindful, because it's like pulling us in with liking. Liking the things we like still pull us. We desire them, we want them. The things we don't like, we know they cause us suffering because they pull us to negativity, aversion. But the things we like also pull us. Sometimes you see it in the monastery, you see it. I live in the monastery. So people come on retreat or they come to live in the monastery, meditate. Some people are very sensitive, so they have so much suffering. Like there's one man sensitive to smell. When you're at home, you get used to the smell of your home. Everything, you may have good and bad smells there, but you're used to it. So you don't complain too much, you don't react too much. When you go somewhere new, outside of your control, you can't control the smells. So you may have other people's smell or the smell of the place or things around you that you can't control, you're not used to. So this man was always suffering. He said, "Oh, I can't meditate in the hall, the smell is too strong." And everyone's going, "What smell?" Because the monks are all there all the time, maybe there's a few smells, but nothing too extreme. But this man's so sensitive. It's the smell of, like some people, they have balm, put that on, a strong smell, brands of soap, the detergent you wash your clothes in, people's body odor, of course, the smell of things, like mats. You sit on a meditation mat that's a bit old, maybe it has a smell. Just the weather changes the smell, if you've ever noticed. Maybe not so much in the city because you're always under aircon, but maybe aircon has its own smell. But if you're in the forest, when it rains, you get a different smell. Or when it's hot, dusty, you get a different smell. Some people are allergic to the pollen and the dust. So many different smells coming through to our nose every day, and you can't control them all, can you? So this man, he was just sitting there all day suffering with the smells. And, I don't think it was a thing that had a physical basis that he was allergic so much. I think it was more just he was just very particular. He wanted everything to smell the way he liked, and he hadn't really worked that out. So he was suffering a lot. Attachment, what we call attachment. That's just one example, and often it's very subtle things. I've seen people get really angry. Another thing you see in monastery, like in the monastery or the Buddhist center, you can't control the food in the sense, you bring your food donation maybe, but there's many other food donations. If you only have one meal for the day, maybe you have to accept the food from many people, food you didn't cook. Some of it suits you, some doesn't suit you, some is new, some is to your liking, some not. And in a monastery, it's even more. Every day the food is brought to the monastery. You can't control it. So some people get very upset. "Oh, I can't eat this, too salty, too spicy, too bland, too sweet, too sour, too this, too that." Usually it's newcomers, not always, but usually it's the newcomers because they're not yet used to this and they haven't learned to meditate and be mindful of taste. So taste can be a big cause of suffering. So you encourage them to just study what's going on. You taste the food, as long as it's not off, something wrong with it, that may be understandable. But if it's sort of reasonable food and it's cooked, it's healthy, you taste it, what's going on that makes you react with, I don't like this? You get food come to your tongue on a spoon or fork or something, you put it on your tongue, you get a kind of chemical reaction, don't you? And then your tongue tastes. Some tastes, if they're new, maybe just because they're new, they may actually be quite good taste, but because it's new, you don't like it. So I used to live at Ajahn monastery in Rayong, and it's built on the edge of a durian orchard. You get people come to the monastery, and every day, for some of the year, every day they're offering durian. Maybe some American monk or something comes from another country, eats it and goes, "Ooh." But then every day they keep bringing the same thing. You get the smell, get used to the smell, and then taste a little bit, oh, no. Second day, oh, no. But after a while, maybe just get used to it. So I've seen monks stay there for maybe 1 year. When they first come, durian, no, can't eat, don't like it, don't like the taste. By the end of the year, it's, where's the durian? Human beings are like that, can change from what is new and you don't like and doesn't agree with you. You get used to it, after a while you like it. But it's these strings or ropes tied to some animal that's pulling your mind all the time. You like, you don't like, and what do you learn? Well, you learn that even your preferences are very uncertain, unreliable. One day you like something, next day you don't like. It's just not sure. And that's why Ajahn Chah said this is the shortcut to a peaceful mind when you meditate like this. You get sights, sound, taste, smell, touch, then all your internal memories and thoughts, they're not sure. One day you think about something and you say, oh, it's annoying, I want to meditate and I'm thinking too much. Next day you meditate and you think about the same thing, it doesn't bother you. You say, oh, just thinking about that, oh, just let it go and it's gone. Your thoughts are uncertain, not sure. Your preferences, how you react to things, they change. They're not fully reliable. How you view the world, how you view yourself also changes. One day you sit down and you say, I'm no good at meditation, I give up. And you can become very peaceful because you've let go of all expectations. So then your mind actually settles down, becomes quite calm. Another day you sit down and say, well, I've been meditating many years, I know many things, I should be good at this, and you're expecting a lot, so you're not peaceful. Often just the way we look at our experience, whether it's meditation or anything else, already colours or puts a tone on that experience and can affect it. It's one factor in whether you're going to be mindful or not. If you sit down and say, I'm not mindful, I can't do this, already you're undermining your effort, but the way you view yourself, you view the thing you're doing, already is affecting how it is. So that's like one of these internal ropes pulling on your mind. So the way out of this, the Buddha said, well, practice bringing up the mindfulness a lot. He said, do it a lot. Bhavita bahulikata. Do it a lot. Do it often. Come to NDR often. Do the meditation retreat often. So you get better, you get stronger, you get mindfulness improves, and then you start to see some of these ropes or strings pulling on you. Then you can maybe choose whether to let it pull you or maybe you say, let it go. You have some strength of mind, you have ability to understand better what's going on in your mind affecting you. The technical terms, well, the Buddha gave us these two aspects of meditation. One we call samatha bhavana. You probably heard this word. Samatha means peace, tranquility. And then vipassana bhavana, clear seeing or insight, meditation, clearly seeing the way things are. And Ajahn Chah used to say they're both a part of one, they're both two sides of the same thing. They're not really separable. They are two sides of the same thing. He said it's like a piece of wood. This end is samatha bhavana, that ends vipassana. You pick up the wood, they come up together. So as we're practicing now, say as we practice mindfulness of the breathing, some people like to recite Buddha, recollect the Buddha, or any of the other meditation objects. Probably you would say in the beginning, this is samatha meditation, learning to be mindful directed to an object such as the breathing, to know each breath in, each breath out, not letting your mind get distracted by all the sense contact, the thoughts, the sounds, the whatever it is. You're training your mind in mindfulness to make your mindfulness strong, consistent, continuous. And the accompanying sense of well-being and peace comes up. And then some of those negative thoughts, unwholesome thoughts, unskillful states of mind start to drop away. As they drop away, what's left is the good stuff, the wholesome states of mind, with mindfulness, with patience, with faith. And your mind becomes more and more ready for practicing vipassana, seeing the truth, because it becomes calm, clear. That's the benefit of samatha. You're letting go of unwholesome states of mind, focusing on one single object, and then your mind becomes calm, peaceful, you might say ready to contemplate. But at the same time, having said that, the practice of vipassana is not totally separate, is it? As you're sitting, trying to focus your attention on the breathing, what happens? You notice thoughts coming and going. You notice a sound come to your ear, but as you're practicing, you notice it and you consciously let it go. You say, oh, let it go, it's not important. You have a memory pop up, let it go, it's not important. This is not what I need to think about or get involved with now, let it go. Already you're cultivating the grounds or the basis for vipassana meditation, the second aspect of meditation, already from day one. So this can be confusing because people come and they ask me, say, is your retreat a samatha retreat or a vipassana retreat? So I say, well, it's an everything retreat because I follow Ajahn Chah. Which should be good, isn't it? You get everything, all in one, all at the same time. It's like package, you get everything. But at the same time, sometimes in our understanding, we need a little bit of structure. So on paper, we say, well, we're practicing samatha first, learning to meditate, watch the breath go in and out, or recite Buddha is another way. There's a few techniques we can use. We do this first, and the vipassana will come out of this. But as I said, as you're doing it, you will already be developing vipassana insight. You will notice your thoughts are not sure. One day you sit down, one moment, within one day, one period you sit down, you feel good, you feel very enthusiastic, you're going to do it. Maybe an hour later, you sit down to meditate, you think, I hate this, I want to go home. Your mind changes, not sure, uncertain. All of this is the basis for vipassana, isn't it? Seeing the changing nature of your mind through the day. So the important thing is to see this is all something you've got to learn from as you practice. Not just give in and say, follow every mood. And so if your mood says, go home, well, you're going to stop, aren't you? Everything stops. The mood may come up, that thought, or you just watch it. And you probably find it just passes away again. And 5 minutes later or half an hour later, it's gone. You feel different again. Or with the pain, you may start, you sit down and say, oh, not the painful leg again. But you're patient, you keep going, keep mindfully watching, and then 30 minutes later it's gone. And it will come and go. Sometimes you're awake, sometimes a bit sleepy, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're grumpy. Okay, as we joke, we say you got all the 7 dwarves in one mind. They all have their different character, but that's one mind just changing through the day. And that's maybe one good thing about a day retreat. You see some of these changes. But the basic technique is, we can say, samatha, coming back to your meditation object, making that mindfulness very continuous, putting that effort in. And then the second part is developing some insight. Particularly as you become more calm, then insight is more practicable, it's more doable because you're calm. However, you won't be calm all the time. You also have to learn how to go back and calm your mind down again. Different kinds of calm are needed, aren't they? Like when you begin meditation, maybe your moods, your emotions are quite strong. They really bother you. So like when I began meditating, it was always just like the slightest little itch. I said, why am I having these itches? I'm here to meditate. I want to get enlightened. I don't want to spend all my day thinking about itches. I get upset about an itch. But then after a while, meditating regularly, I thought, an itch is a very small thing. I really shouldn't be concerning too much about that. Let it go. I just learned to ignore itches till they stop bothering me. Many things are like that, aren't they? In the beginning, they really annoy you or worry you. If you have a pain, often you'll go, oh, I got a pain in my leg. Am I going to become, like paralyzed, or am I going to die? It's just because you got a little pain in your leg, and then maybe you meditate for an hour, and then you get up and do something else. You realize, well, there was a pain there, but it's not life-threatening. It's just one feeling. And then your attitude changes a bit, doesn't it? So in the beginning, our emotions are a bit unstable. We've got all our memories about work and family and different things in our life, and it'll all come up and sort of cause us trouble as we start to meditate. But if you keep practicing, you start to see your emotions can calm down quite easily, especially when you apply your mind. So you apply your mind to the mindfulness of breathing, say, you say, oh, it's very good at helping you just to calm, relax. Not just in a meditation session like this, but maybe at work or at home in a situation where you're becoming very stressed, angry, sad, overwhelmed by some emotion. You do a few moments of mindfulness of breathing, a few minutes of it. Maybe you go away and sit down on your own and just quietly calm your mind. It can really help you. You can see even the most extreme emotions, if you apply some Dhamma, something like the Dhamma of mindfulness, maybe mindfulness directed to the breathing, you can calm down quite quickly in some situations. It takes effort. I'm not saying it's easy, but it can do you a great service. It's a very useful technique. So not just in the meditation, it will be available for you at other times. But then there's also very subtle kinds of calm, aren't there? As you meditate more regularly, you may start to experience the mind that is more peaceful in samadhi. And you've probably heard all the talks, the descriptions of samadhi, where the mind, we say, has Vitakka and Vicara. So Vitakka is initial thought. You're directing your mind to know one thing, an object such as the breath or any other wholesome object. You're directing to the mind to know that means you have to keep bringing the mind to the breath. That we know that action of mind runs away, you bring it back. Runs away, bring it back. Goes over there, bring it back. Goes over there, bring it back. Very frustrating and tiresome at times, but if you're willing to do that, you get to understand what Vitakka is. Directing your mind to know something. Vicara is the second factor of samadhi. It's keeping the breath in mind. There's knowing the breath, the initial knowing the breath, and then the second one is keeping it there. And that gets easier. The more you get to know the breath, the more familiar you are with it, the easier it is to keep that awareness, that knowing in place. So your mind stays with the breath. So we call that Vitakka Vicara. It's like they say, it's like this. They give the example. Hit the bell. That's not the bell to leave the hall. You hit the bell, that's Vitakka. Vicara is the resonance. There's always a resonance afterwards. So you put your mind on the breath, and then the resonance, your mind stays with the breath, Vicara. As you get better, that becomes easier. You're more familiar, more used to it. And that's when you start to enjoy it more, because there's less struggle. But it's a practice thing. You have to practice. There's no way around it. You practice, but there's less struggle. So you start to relax. And that's the third factor of samadhi, is you start to enjoy it and feel interested, enthusiastic for what you're doing. You're enjoying it. You experience piti. And that can come in just very small, subtle ways, just a gentle sort of feeling of comfort in the body, comfort in the mind. You feel at ease, relaxed, kind of feel light, happy. Or it can be very powerful, uplifting. Uplifting is another quality of piti. So literally, you feel buoyant. They compare it to like floating on the water. If, say, you have a life jacket or something full of air, and you can just float there without sinking. You're buoyant, you're uplifted, and you won't sink down. Piti is like that. So piti is the antidote to all those troubles that meditators experience, feeling bored, feeling irritated with whatever's going on, annoyed, all the more negative thoughts, they start to fade because you have piti arise. You feel buoyant, light, enthusiastic. You're willing to do it, you're enjoying it. And that supports the next quality of samadhi, is sukha. You probably heard the word sukha many times. It can be just refers to pleasure, pleasant feeling, pleasure. And we can feel pleasure with many things. So like, you just had a meal, you eat nice food, you feel sukha. Your hunger goes, some nice taste. You can be in an enjoyable situation, enjoying something, nice music, friendship, nice food. You have sukha. But that's what we call kama sukha, sensual happiness. And that's the easy kind of happiness we can get. And so we spend a lot of time just seeking that out in life. But it comes at a cost, because it's very distracting and actually weakens the mind, because you become kind of caught up in it. It's a bit like you're always having to lean on something to be happy. I've got to have my coffee, otherwise I'm not happy. I got to talk to my best friend, or otherwise I'm not happy. I got to get the thing I want, otherwise I'm not happy. It's that addictive quality. And here I'm talking about all kinds of little things as well as big things. We have kama sukha, sensual happiness, is a weakness, really. This is more what we call niramisa sukha. It's the sukha, the happiness that comes just from the mind becoming peaceful, settling down, becoming stable, and internally happy, not directed to the world. If you don't get your coffee, it's okay. If you don't talk to your friend, it's okay. You get happiness, a feeling of contentment, happiness, without having to have anything else to stimulate you. And this is something very special for us and very necessary in the path, but very important for our mind to change a bit, to realize we can be happy inside without all the things that we feel we need in life. Because if you ask yourself, what do I need in life to be happy? And if you're honest, You probably can have a whole list of things. I've got to have this, I've got to have, the kind of food I want, the kind of drink I want, the place, the people, I've got to have this, certain amount of money in my bank account, I've got to have this and this and this and this. My boss has to say nice things to me, and my children have to be behaving themselves. If you ask yourself, you have a whole list of things that you say you need to be happy. This is different. This is inner happiness, independent of all those things. And as I said, it's not putting down the sort of normal happiness of life, the pleasure. It's just a reality that the normal pleasures are very fragile, uncertain. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Whereas this is a kind of inner happiness that you can generate through your own efforts. And it's a skill, so it may take time and effort, but it's something that you can achieve, you can find, and it's independent of all these other things. And the best selling point of all is it's free. Which is why monks do not need to be paid. Because we're looking, our job is to look and find this kind of inner happiness. It's free. I mean, it's as simple as that. The best happiness is free. Nobody's got that yet in the world. They're all going in the other direction. But never mind. We're here. So you're all the special ones in the know. You've got the secret to life right here. So there's Vitakka, putting your mind on the breath. Vicara, keeping it there, sustaining it there. Piti, the enthusiasm, the interest. Sukha, the pleasure, the contentment that arises from doing this and keeps your mind staying with the object. You're not worried about anything. So you see, if someone's getting into their meditation, they're sitting there kind of still, quiet, peaceful. They're no longer worried, when's he going to ring the bell? They're no longer worried about that appointment later today or what's going to happen tomorrow. They're not worrying or thinking too much about the future. They're content in the present moment. And sometimes you get people like that. They just want to keep meditating through the day because they've reached a point where they actually have a lot of inner sukha, inner happiness. This lays the ground for the last factor of samadhi, which we call Ekaggata, right? One-pointedness. Eka means one. One-pointed knowing, meaning your mind has finally settled down and is happy just to know the one thing, the breath. We say it merges or absorbs into the object. This is a very natural process. At that point, it's not you're forcing, it's not something you can force, which, again, when we begin meditation, we want fast track to Nibbana, so you're going to force my mind to stay with the breath. And when you force something, you tend to get kickback or pushback from that very action. So if you try and force your mind to stay with the breath or know the breath, it gets very tiring, can become painful. You're trying to squash your mind, stay with the breath, not think of anything. Often people actually get irritable and angry because they're trying to concentrate on their breath, and the slightest little thing that gets in their way is like an obstacle to be pushed aside, and they're short fuse, short temper. It's not the way it's going to be done. You can suppress all your distractions with willpower for a little while, but not very long. And it's not natural at all. It's unnatural, isn't it, to force your mind in a way. But actually, one-pointedness comes through regular practice and a skill of just directing your mind gently but firmly. I don't know if that's a contradiction, but continuously, unwaveringly towards the object, to the point where it's happy to just know the one object and doesn't need anything else. So happy to let go of everything else. This is the important thing. You can let go of thoughts, memories, even pain in the legs, all the things that normally kind of drag us around, these 6 ropes, is like you've let them go. Now your mind is just happy with one thing, the breath. Or it could be another object. There are many samatha objects, but this is the goal of samatha meditation, just train the mind to start letting go of all the distractions, just to come to one point, know one thing, and be happy doing that. Peaceful, happy, and you know why you're doing it, because you're doing it to develop the skill of letting go of everything else. And if you're satisfied, say, to be with the breath, you're enjoying that, then you're quite happy to let go of everything else. So thoughts come and go, but they don't bother you. Eventually you may not have any thoughts at all if you really merge with the breath. Usually before your mind completely becomes totally one-pointed, it will reach a point where it's reasonably peaceful and knowing its object. But you can still hear, can still think a little bit, thoughts will come up, you can still sense your body. According to the text, we call this Upacara Samadhi. So they translate that as neighborhood concentration or access concentration, where you're just before total one-pointedness. Total one-pointedness obviously means you're no longer experiencing things outside. You're not listening, you're not thinking, you're not doing anything, you're just knowing the one object. That's all. Very pure, very unusual, you might say, kind of knowledge, just knowing one thing. But just before that, you're already very peaceful, just to stay with the breath. Ajahn Chah used to compare it to like a chicken in its cage. So I don't know if there's any chickens left in Singapore, but where I live, some of the villages have chickens, and they have cages, because there's a lot of foxes around, so you need a cage. So the chicken can walk around in the cage, but it doesn't go outside the cage. So it's protected, but it still has a little bit of space to move around. And that's Upacara Samadhi. You've got a little bit of space, a little bit of movement in the mind, but it's protected. Your mind won't be straying out, following endless thoughts about sights, smell, touch, taste, and endlessly thinking about stuff anymore. You may have a thought arise and then it passes away. You just can see that thought, know that thought, but you don't get involved with it. So it's protected. So this is a very good state to practice vipassana, to turn to contemplate from samatha, to contemplate the 3 characteristics: anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, anatta, not self. So, for example, your mind is calm, say during the middle of your meditation you become very calm with the breath. You can still hear a sound, you may have a thought arise, but now you just know things as they are. Meaning, a thought can come up, a memory, a thought that formerly would have disturbed you, but now you just can know it, and the thought is just a thought. Or the feeling, your mind notices there's a painful feeling, but it's just a feeling. This kind of concentration is very good for contemplating, to see things as they are, to see thoughts as just thoughts, arising, ceasing, a memory arising, ceasing, feelings arising, passing away. And that includes painful things. Maybe it's easy to see the pleasant things arising and ceasing, they don't bother you too much, but unpleasant things tend to throw us, don't they? You're peaceful with the breath, quite mindful. If you're not careful, maybe you remember some incident that set you off in the past, made you very unhappy, angry or sad or disappointed, and you remember that one thing and straight away you're thrown into a new train of thought, a new emotional state. You're taken away from your peace. quite often that will happen. But once your mind becomes kind of stable and calm, maybe that same kind of thought or issue comes up into the mind. Now you just watch it without getting involved with it. So there's this sense of distance. There's a knowing, the knowing, and then there's the thing you're knowing. And it like maybe something that formerly made you very upset, angry, worried, afraid. Something that was really bugging you, some unfinished business. But now you just watch, and now you look at it with a sense of, we said dispassion or detachment. So you know it, but you're not getting too involved with it. And when you know something without getting involved with it, you can contemplate it. You can see it arise, pass away. You can see the drawbacks of that way of thinking, or the view that is underlying it. You know, maybe you're angry with somebody over something they said or did. Maybe it affected you, or affected someone you love, or something. But now you're calm, you can look at that memory or that emotion that's based on that memory, and you say, it's happened. I can't change what's already happened, because it's already happened. If I keep thinking angry thoughts, I'm suffering. And it doesn't affect anything, because it's already happened. So maybe if I see that, time to let go. You can start consciously letting go of things that formerly you were holding on to, because now you see they are impermanent, they're suffering, and ultimately they're not you, they're not yourself. We say it's a condition of mind, a mental state caused by previous actions, previous activities, things that have happened. Now you can see that, maybe you can let go. So maybe you've been angry with someone, or sad or upset about something. Or the other thing you can do at this point in your meditation, when you are more calm, the mindfulness is steady and you're able to contemplate things. Ajahn Chah said, if you're not sure what to contemplate, come back to the body, the physical body, start there. And that means finding a way to start looking at this body as something that is not you, not yours, but just as it is. See the body in the body. So one way we do this, as you know, in the chanting book, we have a chant, the 32 parts of the body. Just running through them, hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, bones, sinews, all the parts, all the organs, the liquids as well. Running through that chant, word by word, and maybe visualizing each part as you go. Because if you're calm, you can do this. Maybe not for long at first, it's not easy, but you can try. Try directing your mind to contemplate the body, running through the 32 parts, and just start seeing those parts as just parts, component parts of a whole, which we call a human being. But now you're seeing, well, actually what we call a human being is a collection of body parts, and there's no real person or self in all those little parts that come together to make the whole. So like, you pull a hair out. I can't, because I've got no hair. I have to imagine. You could pull a hair out, or as I found in the sink this morning, a hair was there. Clearly not mine, it was a lot longer than mine. A hair. But it's just a hair, isn't it? A hair is just a hair. It's not already a person, is it? As soon as it leaves somebody's head, it's not part of them, and it's obviously not part of them, it's left their head. It's obviously a bit of material that's made up of, the mostly solid elements. Technically you could go into it if you're interested. You read what makes up hair. I think it's mainly protein, isn't it? Dead protein cells. Comes out through the blood, that comes out through pores in your skin, grows, keeps growing until you get old, and then it stops growing. But keeps growing, and then you either cut it off or it falls out. But that thing which we say is hair actually is just parts of nature, isn't it? Elements from nature. When you're calm in your meditation, you can do this. You can turn, maybe you leave the breath now and you turn to visualize one hair or all the hair, and you can ask questions and you can contemplate it and maybe get a new understanding of something as simple as hair. Or you go through the other parts. So you can try every single part of the body, both the ones you see, skin, nails. Perhaps they're the easiest because you see them every day. You contemplate your nails. This is not who's got beautiful nails, who needs to go to the manicure and get nothing like that. It's just looking at nails as a part of nature. Same with skin, rough skin, smooth skin, soft skin. It's nothing to do with that. It's just noticing skin as a fact of life. Skin is a kind of, the Buddha said it's like a bag, a sealed bag of skin keeps all the rest of the body protected, because if we didn't have skin, it'd be very painful. Stops us from having pain. Just when you sit down, your skin is kind of giving you some protection there. So you just look at skin in a very detached way, without looking to form an opinion, good skin, bad skin, beautiful skin, ugly skin, just knowing skin as skin, but also seeing it as not self. Ultimately, skin is not self. Any part of the body, it could be one of the liquids, or blood, or urine, or phlegm, or something. These are all parts of a whole, but none of them are a self that just sort of exists as a self, comes into existence as a self, has your name written on it. No, they're not, are they? They're just parts of nature that come as we feed and manage this body. We keep it going. These body parts keep going, and when you die, they go back to nature. The body is just a rental thing. It's just a thing you borrow from nature for a while, and then you have to give back. When you're calm and you contemplate this, you get a whole new way of looking at your own body. And of course you can apply this to other people's bodies as well, so it affects the way you look at other people. Maybe no longer looking so much as this person looks handsome, beautiful, this person ugly, or this person strong, weak, or I like this person, I don't like that person. You're just recognizing maybe more the common universal qualities of humans is that they have all these different body parts which, when separated, the sense of a human being seems to disappear more, doesn't it? And this is the way the Buddha taught us to practice. This is the first thing you're taught as a Buddhist monk. Contemplate the body. In the Buddhist monk ordination ceremony, you're taught Kesa, Loma, Naka, Danta, Tacha. It's like hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin. Most people find this really kind of boring, challenging, difficult. They don't want to do this, and that's understandable because we're so used to accepting this body as being a self, me, mine, my body, my private space. You can't interfere with my body. And if you look at it, our life centers around keeping this body happy, fed, clothed, warm. We've invested so much self in it, and then all our opinions and preferences, we all have our idea of perfection and what we desire in a human body, the form, the look, and so on. It's actually making the world go round. So when you do this practice, you're challenging a lot of pre-held notions and cultural conditioning. So it may take a little bit of time to get into. But what helps is when you practice mindfulness and you calm your mind down, maybe using other techniques like the breath or recollecting the Buddha, as the mind and the breath become calm, then it's more doable, and you can start looking at your body in a more realistic way. And what tends to happen is sometimes people have a whole new insight into their own body doing this. It may not be the first time they do it, but if they meditate regularly, they start, sometimes very quickly, sometimes slowly, they start to see the body as more, in a more detached way, which releases them from a lot of suffering. As one lady said, "Oh, I spent all my life being obsessed with my hair." I'm not saying women are just obsessed; men can be obsessed as well. But she said, "Being obsessed with my hair all my life, and then meditating like this. After a while, I started to realize your hair is just hair. It may seem like an extension of yourself or part of yourself, but that's a delusion. Hair is just, cells and bits of nature, elements of nature that are not a self, and in the end, they're not to be clung to as self." She had this realization. She said, "Oh, it's really liberating." Many people say this kind of thing. They when they meditate more and get more calm, and then start contemplating the body as the body, things change in their mind. The way they look at themselves, other people, is very liberating from a lot of their sort of conventional attachments to beauty and all the things, the normal way we look at this body, and also liberates us from a lot of fear, because we're all afraid of being sick and not looking good and afraid of death, obviously. It can help you deal with all that, helps change your attitude a little bit. And particularly towards the end of your life, it might be very helpful, because it makes you really think, what is life? And although we spend a lot of time feeding and clothing and making this body comfortable, that's not really the point of human life. The point of human life is to train the mind. And you're starting to see mind and body are separate things, different things. And when you die, the body does die and go back to the world, but the mind doesn't die. And the mind, if we look after it and develop it well, can be our real refuge. The Buddha, the Dhamma, Sangha are in the mind. They come through when we develop and train the mind well. It will bring us happiness, it will bring us right understanding, liberate us from all kinds of suffering and attachment. So I've reached the end of this period of teaching, given you a little bit of guidance on samatha and vipassana meditation. Now it's practice time. So I'm going to stop talking, and the next couple of hours you've got a choice. You can sit. If you need to go out and stretch, you can stretch, do some walking meditation downstairs, I believe. When you're walking meditation, just find a small area to walk back and forth. Even if you've only got a few paces, you can do it. Just slowly walk mindfully back and forth. Maybe use the pressure of the feet as the focus of your mindfulness. The feeling of your feet touching the ground, left, right, just walking as many paces as you've got. You walk to the end of your little area, and then you turn around, and then you come back, and you stop, you turn around, you go back. I was always taught to recite Buddho as I walk, to help keep attention. Put my attention on the feeling as well, the feeling of the feet, but recite Buddho, 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 as slowly or quickly as you are comfortable with. And to keep your attention within your body and the movement and the walking and the recitation. So if you hear sounds, see things, okay, you see something, you just come back to your walking. You hear something, you come back to your walking. Your mind starts thinking about other things, you just gently bring it back. So very similar to sitting, it's just maybe more comfortable. If you've been sitting a long time and you're in pain, well, do some walking. When you've walked for a while, you come back and can do some more sitting. The idea is just to keep this awareness, mindfulness going as much as you can, whether sitting or walking, gathering your attention inwards, knowing your body and mind in the present moment. So I'll leave you to it for the next period, and we'll be back later for some more teaching.
Hantamayantama kataya satu karam tatamase. Sadhu, 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 anumodami.